In 2006, a 16-year-old Ryan Higa and his friends created a YouTube channel to share the weekly videos they made for their family and friends and just make them a little bit more accessible. Silly lip-syncing videos and short sketches that were once watched around the TV were now being watched by hundreds and thousands of people. Welcome to episode 3 of Rewind Time. This week, Ryan Higa, aka Nigahiga.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Welcome to episode 3 of Rewind Time. I'm your host, Max. I'm here with Lucy. Lucy, how are you?
I'm just excited to be back on the only that we know of unofficial YouTube history podcast.
I thought you were going to say back in our living room because for audio listeners, we have returned to the living room, our original recording space. Iconic Smosh episode was recorded here. And I do have a confession in regard to that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna let you drive this.
Someone might describe me as an audiophile. I was someone who I thought audio fidelity was important to. But in the original episode, a production error on my behalf meant that our microphone audio was not what was included in our published episode. Instead, our camera audio was. So what I thought was the result of our very noisy living room was actually my own error and omission of the real audio on the episode. So
yeah, I mean, I think the microphone's made for a fun prop for episode 1.
As a listener said, oh, cool setup. Are the mics real? And I thought, wow, yes, maybe I should check that. And they are real, and we just didn't include the audio.
I mean, I also didn't notice it, but that's because it's my regular audio. For listeners who don't know, I am a YouTuber by trade, so that is where my expertise comes in, but I don't care about audio as much as Max does, which makes it more embarrassing and psychic damage. I'll insert a picture for our video listeners here of Max when he found out what had happened to the video file.
It was me rolling on the floor, yeah. But you do shoot a lot closer to the camera, so this is not a commentary on the quality of your audio. It's more just the fact that we did maybe needlessly move to the bedroom for an episode, which is a special treat. By the end of this, we'll do one in the kitchen and then you'll see the whole house.
I mean, hey, if you've been enjoying Rewind Time podcast so far, if you'd like to leave a review on, your podcasting platform of choice and let us know which room you'd like for us to record in, if you have any preference. Bathroom, I think, could be a shower ep.
I have learned from watching these videos that you should tell the viewers to leave a like or a comment at the end. That's something that they still do now, and they did it back in the 2000s.
We're so early into the journey of, your YouTube odyssey, and you're learning so much already. I'm so proud of you.
I have the fundamentals down, but this is like a how to be YouTuber for me because we're obviously posting this on YouTube as well. But enough about the mechanics of us recording. Ryan Higa,
yes,
or as he is known, Nigahiga. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah. I don't know if anyone could detect like the trepidation in my voice in the opening, in the cold open. Yes, a name subject to, I'd say, some mild controversy and questioning.
Well, we watched a YouTuber who won't be named react to a sort of in memoriam of early YouTubers from this time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I will not say that name. And I, until this point, had been like, oh, he has a justification for what the name is, in that he says that it's basically, he was like, I was sick of people mispronouncing my last name, Higa, so I did this name to reflect that pronunciation. Which, do you believe that is the case?
I think maybe that is the case, but I do think that the first part of the channel name was potentially maybe like he was trying to do some
there's just we watched the old videos and I don't think there is a pronunciation of it that is obviously what we're referring to is it could be mistaken for the casual use of the N-word. So I think the fact that he refused to change it actually meant that people over time were like, no, he's it's actually about his name, bro. Like, he's totally legit.
Well, I think if he did change it, that would mean that is what it is. But by not changing the channel name, he's maintaining innocence. And you know what? Standout PR move. I can't. Hey.
You can't fault it?
Look, I wouldn't do it at all, but it's fine.
There is something to be said that he found himself as a nearly 30-year-old man having to still use the name that he picked when he was a teenager. So I have some sympathy for him there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Imagine having to use your original screen name from when you were a child, like your original.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know what yours is?
I have a few, but do you have?
Mine was the King, and then it was my date of birth.
Okay, mine, I think one of my original Gmails, I won't say the full Gmail in case no one wants to hack into it, but it did have Katniss in it from like the Hunger Games.
Okay.
So, a fandom which was a part of, no longer particularly passionate about, but yeah, I can't imagine now as an adult woman, also nearing 30, having my YouTube username be like Katniss, like Katniss Lover 23. That would be tough for me. So
no, 100%.
Can't hate.
These are Nigahiga early videos you mentioned in the introduction. I wanted to mention how he is from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a bit of interest to his background compared to, I'm sure, many of the other YouTubers of this era that we will talk about, in that while he is American, he is by virtue of like an island which, is not particularly well represented in American pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't know much about Hawaii. Do you know much about Hawaii? You've not been there?
I will not claim to know much about Hawaii. I have never been there.
Yeah, so when we see the Hawaiian background in these videos, while it is like suburban to an extent, there is a little, in his early career, bubble about him in terms of celebrity, where Hawaiian news media and local production are like, this crazy kid making videos on the internet.
It's from this, town in Hawaii. Yeah, yep. No, 100%. Shall we talk about the early Ryan Higa videos? I'm going to say Ryan Higa. You can keep saying the channel name if you want.
I'm say Ryan.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad we're in agreement. So 2006, early videos. The first video, I should mention for anyone looking, a bunch of them are not on YouTube anymore due to copyright claims. And I would say a good use of copyright, to be honest. The first video we watched and the first video on record that I could find was Mind Geek, which I think was some type of like David Blaine, like, magician
play.
Yeah, like a magician sketch. I think the joke was just like doing magician tricks, but they're like bad or faked. So that was the first one. But then we sharply turn into a myriad of lip syncing videos, which were all spectacular. In particular, I want to make great mention of the wigs, an excellent use of wigs. No towel on head pretending to be a woman. All of the people in the videos had wigs. And everyone seemed to have a favourite wig.
Wardrobe for content creators has actually gotten worse since the 2000s, where 15-year-old Ryan had wigs.
Multiple wigs.
Exactly. But Australian TikTokers now, it's just towel on the head.
Towel on the head, I'm a woman.
I'm a woman. But we should talk about, in these videos, a secondary character, Sean.
Yes.
Who will be in and out of Ryan's channel for the next 15 or so years.
Mm-hmm.
But he is literally the high school friend of Ryan at this stage, and it is like a home videos project where they're filming each other in these skits. Yeah,
so the videos were originally like very much like the meme of like when I want to convince my family to have my friend sleep over and you like do a little performance. Did you ever do that?
Well, he speaks expressly about, I made these videos on VHS and showed them at family movie night.
Yes.
And I was like VHS in the 2010s.
2006. It was 2006.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, you got me there.
Honestly,
Honestly, we did have DVD at that point.
We did have DVD at that point. But
Burning VHS go off.
Yeah, if you have a video camera and it, records to tape, I think it's cute. So that was like the origin. They were genuinely like, funny movies he'd make for family and friends, which then got uploaded to YouTube, which then a bunch of people saw, and he became sort of a local celebrity along with his friends who were in the videos. It's kind of hard to... This is technically Ryan's channel, but the origin is not just Ryan. It's like a group project, but then it's like one... Not to bring it back to episode 1, but it's not quite like Smosh, where it's like definitively 2 people kind of the whole way.
Having said that, though, Smosh was founded by Anthony and Ian joined later, but they are co-credited as founders.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like the channel was founded by Ryan and Sean,
And
but
their
at some
friends,
point,
yeah.
it's like Ryan is the star. And no offense to Sean, he's a great straight man in their comedy duo, but there's no way he could carry this channel by himself.
I think it's just a case of, it's like one person's like true passion and another person just like is your friend and is like happy to be there and support you and like maybe even, for you to bounce creative ideas off. But like it's Ryan's thing. It was a big thing for Ryan, hence Ryan Higa, his channel.
Would you say the How to Be series is the most iconic from this early phase?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, look, I did like the wannabe lip sync. I do like the wigs. You actually particularly liked the Titanic lip sync.
But the lip syncing was better than Smosh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we shouldn't. Comparison's the thief of joy. We're not going to make the boys compare.
Sorry. It's just tough for me when I've only seen 2 YouTubers. So to me, it's like, wow, this YouTuber is so like this other YouTuber, the only YouTuber I have seen.
That's literally that, like, what format? Yeah. It's like me who's only ever seen one movie before. Oh my gosh, this is so much like The Secret Life of Pets, me when I see a dog in a movie. Anyway, yeah, I think you like Titanic, but that's just because you like My Heart Will Go On. Who doesn't?
Yeah, look, all of Ryan's music taste are songs that I have listened to
bangers.
more than 10 times in my life. And compared to Smosh, where it was like, we're just going to do like TV theme song, like very transparent.
You didn't have the Pokemon theme song on your iPod?
No, very like IP grabs, like people like Pokemon, they'll like this video. Like Ryan is doing...
Wannabe.
Yeah, he's doing Destiny's Child. Like he's doing Beyonce and he's kind of slaying.
Yes.
He also has that Brat cast, which is iconic.
Yeah, he like broke his arm, so he's in a cast.
Well, you see the rest of the 15 years, the huge scar he had on his arm from breaking it. So it's kind of nice continuity there.
Yeah, truly a lot of progression.
I just want to say, so the How to Be series, the 3B ones, How to Be Ninja, which
I think
is
the
like,
most iconic.
Yeah, like a play on the tropes of ninjas in Western media. They make the noise. I'm not going to make it, but
No, I think we've already said the channel name. I think we've done enough to white people on the podcast.
So should we not talk about How to Be Gangster?
Well, look, yeah, I was putting that on the playlist being like, roll, but I'm not going to say it's not completely fine. Actually, ironically, the most offensive thing that happens in any of these early How to Be things is in the How to Be Ninja video, where they just...
Honestly... Ryan, a very PG creator.
Yeah.
Like from the name and not knowing anything, I thought we were going to go like edgier than the other videos we'd watched. Yeah. But it turns out he's actually like a Jerry Seinfeld tier comic in that.
It's very like...
It's so safe.
It's very... It really does feel quite tame a lot of the time. And I'm not saying that to be like nothing ever offensive happens, but compared to like, I mean, the Pokemon lip sync with Smosh, again, not to just be like the only other YouTuber you've ever seen, but they literally do like racist stuff in that video. And How to Be Ninja, Ryan is Asian, so
yeah, it's probably pretty smart in terms of the channel.
Yeah.
I will say, just to close off that offensive thing you mentioned, it is a joke where it's like How to Be X, and the thing is How to Be X, and it's a gay person, but they do use the F slur.
Yeah.
And that was crazy, dropping the hard F when they're like 15. But later on, to his credit, he does actually go back and reference how that is not something that you obviously would do now, but it was somewhat acceptable at the time, which I think is fine.
I think, like, I do think for a lot of YouTubers who have this like internet footprint that spans over 10 years, like a decade, to when they are teenagers / I would argue children. I think it is okay. You know, if they, as long as they recognize and apologize, I'm kind of like, yeah, they wouldn't do it again. No. Hopefully.
And I don't want them to take the videos down. Like even from like an archival point of view,
yeah, totally.
Us making this podcast, I need YouTubers not to destroy their old videos.
Yeah.
But even besides that, it's nice to see like as a historical document what was popular at that time.
Yeah, for sure. And I cannot say the same amount of growth for all YouTubers / the same amount of PG. Like, no spoilers, obviously, for some of you listening who are more fans of YouTube. There are some early YouTubers who, yeah, none of the content will fly at all.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can definitely wait a bit to cover those.
But at this point, so Ryan and Sean as his sidekick, they're quite popular on the platform YouTube, but also in Hawaii, and they actually star in like a kids film which is called Ryan and Sean's Not So Excellent Adventure.
Yes.
I have not seen it. We did not watch it.
We did not watch it. It looked like a movie that was made about YouTubers in 2011, or is it earlier than that?
It's earlier than that because
2009.
So Ryan and Sean's Not So Excellent Adventure, release date 2008.
Whoa. And that's like before I think even being a YouTuber was a thing. This is just like these people are internet stars. And I did actually find a couple of articles online that talked about Ryan and Sean, like hometown newspapers, like local newspapers being like, these boys from the local high school are internet stars. So that's pretty cool. Pretty exciting. And that's kind of like their big thing. And then from recollection, Ryan's about to go to college, isn't he?
Yeah, well, unlike Smosh, our boys who went straight to LA, Ryan does, and his parents, I'm sure, and he mentions this, put some pressure on him to get a quote-unquote real job. And it's kind of obvious in the choice of his degree where he goes to study nuclear medicine. Which is like, I imagine, putting people in MRIs. But he does that in the university... He goes to Las Vegas to pursue that dream of his.
The University of Nevada.
Which means that Sean, goodbye. Sean is off the channel for a time.
R.I.P. Sean.
He does not
temporarily.
Doesn't make the cut. The channel goes on without him and presumably stuck in Hawaii for some time.
So now Ryan is at the University of Nevada. He's officially a college student, but he's still making videos, sans Sean, and he's making new videos. We're kind of seeing a bit of a change from, I guess, like the initial format, which tends to be a lot of lip syncing, and then like the How to Be series and kind of riffs on that.
Well, his channel got copyright struck quite severely, and so you can see why, from his perspective, the sketch comedy is more lucrative in that. I'm sure you can expand on when you use copyrighted music in your video, you basically forfeit monetization, right?
Yes. At this point, partner program is in effect. He would be making money. I'm not exactly sure how much, but a pretty good, decent amount. I think he would be one of the more popular YouTubers at this point. But yeah, copyrighted material is just like a surefire way to jeopardize both your channel. Like if you get too many copyright strikes, your channel can just be banned, which is a big no-no, a big I don't want that. But also you can lose any monetization. It kind of depends on what the copyright holder wants to do. We can't get into it. It's actually kind of a mess.
So we watched this Movies in Minutes episode,
yes.
YouTube video, which you made a note saying that it was your introduction to Ryan's videos.
Is the earliest video that we watched that I remember watching. My relationship with the channel, I'm sure we'll kind of touch on it at points throughout. I wasn't like a dedicated Ryan Higa viewer, but Twilight Movies in Minutes I did watch when I was in, I think, middle school, whenever it came out. I remember watching it. Twilight was popular. I had read all the Twilight books. It was in the zeitgeist of teenage girls and boys all around the world. And I thought the video was funny at the time.
I think it is kind of like a lot of his content where he takes sort of a perspective on something that's already popular in popular culture even something that is already being made fun of, like Twilight would be.
Yeah,
And then his
hugely.
team capitalize on doing a filmed like play on that. And it's like anyone that's seen Twilight understands the joke. Anyone who is wanting to engage in Twilight fandom will watch the video. His fans will watch it because they're like, Ryan is funny.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty successful formula for quite a number of years throughout the channel.
I mean, that's just like how to be viral 101. Play to your strengths, incorporate anything that's trending or popular. As you said, a bunch of people, including myself and my friends, we were all watching the Twilight Movies in Minutes video. No, we didn't need to be a fan of Ryan or his previous work to be like, this is a funny video about Twilight. I do remember quoting, which is like teenage vibes, just quoting funny things. I think at the end of the video, it's the Mum Edward's up the tree again, something like that. That was a bit of a bit within my friendship group. You look delighted by that knowledge. You're going to learn so many fun things about me.
That's a fun meme. Like, I have no problem with that. I will say, like, Ryan and his content, it does seem so optimized for mass engagement that it does come across as lacking in some personality.
Yeah.
And I think, like, there's some videos, like, we'll talk about the infomercial spoofs he does. Something like Sham Woohoo.
Woohoo!
The woohoo, yeah.
Sham woohoo!
Which is like 45 seconds long, has basically one joke, which is Sham woohoo.
Yeah.
But it is actually quite funny.
Well, yeah. Sham wow. Boring. Sham woohoo! Funny.
But
bestseller.
He is not, those are not the videos that had like major cut through. It's stuff like the original music videos, the Movies in Minutes parodies,
Yeah.
less the sketch comedy stuff.
I actually kind of want to disagree with you a little bit there. I think it's almost like all of those things packaged together, like the Sham Woohoo, like those infomercial bits were popular within like YouTube culture, which at this point I don't think was particularly mainstream. But if you were like a YouTube viewer, you'd be like the Sham Woohoo, and that would be like in comment sections on other videos and whatnot. Like Ryan Higa at this point was a famous YouTuber. Was he a famous like pop culture person to non-children watching YouTube? I don't know. But I would maybe disagree. It just probably doesn't have the same wide, broad appeal as Movies in Minutes Twilight.
Do you feel the same about the Schizo series of videos? Which for those watching is Ryan playing 4 characters and basically doing a one-man therapy session where he plays every role, and we found them quite unwatchable.
They're just not. It's okay. Look, to anyone, I feel like it has a niche fandom within his fandom. Like there are people who are like, oh, bring back this series. I'm kind of avoiding saying that. I'm not sure if it's offensive. Obviously it's a play on schizophrenia, which is sort of like, which is a genuine. I mean, hey, he's kind of M. Night Shyamalaning it up with the split of it all, like teehee mental disorder vibes. I'm a bit like, It's not actually what it's about either. It's just like these are all these different people who are all played by him. Look, everyone, don't mean to be rude. It's not my cup of tea. It's just not. I think he already plays characters. He's also kind of bringing back, he's like relying on fan favorites. Like it's the character from How to Be Ninja. It's the character from How to Be Gangster. And I'm a bit like, do we need to see them in this format? Is it funny to be?
I think he bites off a bit more than he can chew in terms of his comedic strengths, which are being a very physical comedian, puns, lowbrow comedy.
Oh,
but when he does character work like this, it is a bit. I think it misses the mark.
I feel a bit bad for being critical because I feel like he really likes this series. There's sort of this sense of like it doesn't really get the most. Like if you're looking at view count, this isn't the banger. But it's like a repeated series. So it's always interesting when YouTubers like have their, like to me, looking outside in, it kind of looks like this, his passion series, and he's kind of hoping that it will really like take off and become something bigger. You know, maybe Miranda sings it. Like, will he, I feel like I don't know. I could be so wrong here, but I get that vibe and it didn't. And I think that is fine that it didn't really take off and go anywhere because I didn't really like those videos that much. They're not for me.
What do you feel about So around 2009, Ryan hits 1 million subscribers.
Yes.
And I think then some real smash success videos start coming about because YouTube is generally more popular at that point than it has been in the past. So he starts doing original music, which becomes a staple of the channel for the rest of its existence. So the first one is I'm a Ching Star.
So many things in this run sheet where I'm like, oh, just right on the edge of like, I don't.
We're documentarians.
Yeah.
We have like the Huck Finn defense.
Not sure.
But we didn't, I don't want to speak for you, but yeah, this did not do much for me. In fact, with some exception, which we'll get onto, the musical stuff it did not hit.
I have forgotten what that song sounds like. I have not forgotten what some songs
Ryan
sound
is
like.
rapping. Ryan doesn't sing, I don't think, at all. He raps on all the songs.
Yeah.
And it's not particularly memorable rapping.
This I just think, it's one of those things where it's like he starts doing it, it gets people like, oh, cool, music, original music, that's pretty cool. We're not there yet in terms of it being a banger, but don't worry, we will get there. But we just have to, he's working out some new stuff, he's trying new things, he's making new series. So, like, for example, another new series around this time is the Off the Pill series, which is
important.
So, yeah, it actually does play into his, like, I guess, channel lore in that Off the Pill is a series which is like an unscripted rant.
It's a commentary video.
Yes, it's different. It's not a script. Well, I think they are scripted, but it's not like his other videos where they're sketches or like comedy pieces. It is commentary. It's commentary. It's very different to what we know as like commentary on YouTube now, but very accurate to what it was like then. But it is so named Off the Pill because Ryan has ADHD, which he does discuss as on his channel, which, I think a pretty early case of like talking about, mental health and whatnot, which I think is a very positive role model vibe from Ryan.
100%.
Mm-hmm. And basically he says that he makes those videos when he doesn't take his medication.
Yeah, not sure. He gives with one hand, he takes with the other. I don't know, promoting the series where you're like off your meds and crazy is a good example.
That's to clarify, that's how he
that's
not us
phrasing
saying that. That's how he phrases it, like, I'm off the pill.
Yeah. We did not watch a lot of these because they have dated quite substantially.
Yeah, I mean the topics are like hot topics of the time. Justin Bieber, feminism as a concept. But I feel like we felt that even though they're on these like hot topics, his takes are pretty, I feel so mean for saying they're lukewarm, but they are just kind of like, hey, we should all, like, genders should be equal. And it's like, yeah.
No, it was more like he gave it was like and I'm going to be cautious about generalizing here, but it was an equal rights, equal lefts sort of approach where he was like, if women want to be equal, they should be literally exactly equal, which is, an argument that people commonly against feminism do deploy, but it's one that is not. Oh, obviously it's malicious in a sense, but it's commonplace. You hear people still today make this
but he
line
doesn't
of reasoning.
Really make that reasoning like seriously. He kind of just uses it to then do like bits about like, what if women had to do X? What if men had to do Y? Like, it's not actually his. That's how at least I took it. It's not like a serious political take. And same with the Justin Bieber video. He's just like, wow, this famous pop star is so famous, and it's like kind of doing bits on that, but the actual takeaway, like the lesson, if you will, because the videos do end with this conclusion of him being like, but seriously, guys, like XYZ. His takeaway from the Justin Bieber one is like, he's a person just like the rest of us, so we should treat him like a person. Which, yeah, okay, agree.
It never goes so far, I think, to where he's like, I would risk losing viewers because of my stance.
I would say they're pretty non-controversial.
Yeah, he's always like, the view count, number one. Like, can't jeopardize the bag.
He'll dip his toe into these controversial topics, but then kind of at the end be like, but I'm just kidding, guys. this person, we should treat people equally, or like we're all humans, and it's very like, okay.
Can you tell me about how to be a beauty guru?
Yes.
'Cause
So
I didn't.
this was a Dear Ryan. This was the first Dear Ryan that we watched. So Dear Ryan is another series where commenters say, Dear Ryan, can you blank? Dear Ryan, can you teach me how to, I don't know, how to be a ninja? Dear Ryan, can you teach me blah, blah, blah? Dear Ryan, can you teach me how to be a beauty guru? Are you familiar with early beauty gurus at all? I feel I know the answer to this question, but for the audience.
Jenna Marbles.
No.
How to look pretty.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
wouldn't.
video.
Sure. Any others? Okay.
I honestly, I could name is Sophia Nygaard a beauty YouTuber.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming to the podcast. No. So this video is basically a direct parody of the very popular Michelle Phan, who we will cover on the pod at some point. It's just going to be a big episode, a lot of research. But he basically does like a one-to-one, I don't know, like a parody of her style of video, including the like, good luck at the end, who anyone who watches Michelle Phan or watch Michelle Phan would know that very well. So I enjoyed that video because it was a little trip down memory lane for me. I directly knew what it was parodying, but you did not. So
No. But to Ryan's audience, it's like very complimentary for him to do an imitation of this creator, because then you imagine it's like YouTube collabs. From what I understand, it's like you want to share your audience with this other person, and he was at this point one of the most subscribed, if not, and I got the note here, in December 2010 he became the most subscribed to YouTuber. And it's very complimentary when a YouTuber who's in the top 10 most popular on the platform make a video impersonating you, because naturally your viewers are going to be like, who is he impersonating? Maybe I should watch this Michelle Phan video. And she also appears in more content of his. So you do get the sense they get along.
Yeah, you're getting the sense. It's kind of in these like 2010s to like 2015 where you start to really see the YouTube community title case. So yeah, I enjoyed this video. I think the Dear Ryan series is quite cute. It's quite fun. It works well as a format for him. And all these formats seem to be working for him, because at this point around like 2010, is it March 2010?
Yeah.
He surpasses 3 million subscribers, and he becomes the most subscribed to YouTuber, which he holds for about 2 years. He holds this. So for like 2 years, he's the top dog on YouTube, which is kind of wild, because I think he's in his early 20s, if maybe only 20.
I think he's 20.
Yeah. Crazy work. Imagine being the most successful YouTuber in the world in your like early 20s.
Well, talking of the collaborative nature of YouTube at the time, Ryan does star in his second film, which is crazy by the time you're 20 to have 2 vanity productions set up for you. But it's called Agents of Secret Stuff, which those of you who think in acronyms, yes, it spells ass. And it's like this comedy action short film set in a high school starring Ryan, but also featuring cameos from Smosh, who are very prominently featured in the trailer, despite I think having
like bit parts.
Yeah, no screen time at all. Also, Ian is he's just credited as pervert, which is a bit rough. But one of the co-stars, Arden Cho, is someone who, when I looked at this Wikipedia wondering what happened to these actors, actually has a pretty successful career post this film as an actor, and is in some TV shows that you've watched.
Yes, Partner Track on Netflix. Diabolically cancelled after 1 season. I love me a good little rom-com Netflix show. It's very cute. It's about being like a lawyer who wants to get on the partner track. It's a bit of a love triangle situation. It's really good. It's actually so sad that it only has a season 1. She is a very slight lead. So in the 0.001% that Arden Cho is listening to this, Arden Cho, I stan.
You stan, but also Ryan stans, because they later on begin a relationship that, spoilers, ends poorly.
Well, they break up. I don't know if it ends poorly. They just break up.
Well, yeah, that is ending poorly.
It just ends.
Okay.
It just ends.
Sorry,
publicly.
It ends. You can take that as a positive or a negative. but they presumably met on the set of this film.
They
so
did.
it's probably the longest lasting legacy of Agents of Secret Stuff.
Yeah, and it's also by Wong Fu Productions, which I don't know. We might cover later on. I will probably touch on at certain points because they're a pretty popular production company, like for YouTubers, like an early YouTube adjacent production
that
company.
makes sense.
Yeah. So shout out to Ass.
Yes. This next video is a big one because it is the #1 video on the channel, and it's a video that you are very familiar with.
Yes, I
in that
am.
You were reciting it line for line while we were watching, which shocked me.
Yeah, you looked disturbed.
Well, I didn't think you were this big a fan of the channel, but the video is called Nice Guys.
Nice Guys finish last. Banger.
And it's an original music video, and it features very prominently the singer-songwriter, musician, musical talent, Chester C.
Chester C fans, rise up. Chester C, we love you.
I admit, I was, like all this stuff, I was struggling watching these videos, but when this came on, Chester C, and for the next few original like music videos he features in, it like lit up my spirit because he slays like so hard. He does the chorus, he does the bridge, he does everything
but the rap
as a character. Ryan still raps, which is like completely forgettable, but the hook, and we should
no, I do know the rap. I'm not going to perform it now, but I know it. I don't think it's fair to call it forgettable. Never forget whose channel this is.
I take it back. Sure, the rap is perfunctory, but the hook is like so catchy. Yeah. I have been singing
around the house
the YouTube original Nice Guys finish last because it's just like Chester C hits it so hard.
He's actually like so slay. I don't think you all understand how we watch these videos. I make a playlist. It has like 100 videos on it, and we have to go through and we sit down and we watch them all over the course of like a week. And there are times where Max is like slumped in his seat, verging on being catatonic. And he's like in the chair being like, when will this end? And then Nice Guys came on and he was like, who is this man? Like, what is that melody? Like, Chester C comes out, also shirtless for a good portion of the video. He's on a skateboard. There's this one shot of Chester C on a skateboard shirtless, and he's like gliding, and it's kind of Jesus vibes. He's the savior.
Look, I think it's more we have spent a lot of time listening to music from non-musicians, so the bar is very low, and as soon as they like cut the check to get someone who is like musically talented, it's like so far above where we were that it seemed to us like the greatest song ever. And it is obviously a good song.
It's a banger.
It's so popular on YouTube still.
I think so many people, even if they didn't watch Ryan, they would know Nice Guys. This is YouTube history. Like, I am sorry. I think this is a banger. I knew that I remembered it, but we were watching it and I was like, I remember so much of this, like a surprising amount. And it's not a one-hit wonder. No. It's not. Because they then come out with Bromance, which also has Chester C. You were, I don't know, jumping in delight when I mean, I kind of spoiled it for you. I did say he will be back because I thought that would maybe help pull you through the next few videos in between Nice Guys and Bromance. But Bromance is what it sounds like. It's about a bromance. It's about having a bromance with your friends.
It's about like hashtag like not gay. It's about like being friends with your male friends, but not in a gay way.
Never. That would be so crazy.
Yeah. And I think it's fine. I think that it's not quite at the Nice Guys level.
You're not really into the bromance.
It asks us to buy into the Sean and Ryan bromance. But to be honest, Sean and Ryan, it kind of gives employee and boss.
No.
Because Sean is reliant on Ryan for the bag. So it's not quite like when the Smosh Boys they play on their shipping together.
Yeah, I suppose. But I mean, Chester C you could ship with anyone. He really has like oodles and oodles of chemistry. He's the most charismatic man ever. This is the number one. We should just rename this to the
We
Chester
will do
C.
a Chester C episode.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not. Yeah, we will. I think we just will because we like him. Yeah, we should rename the podcast to the Chester C Time podcast.
I'll consider it.
Yeah.
But at this point, we have, by 2011, 4 million subs, which I'm sure is boosted by the successful original music. And there is a announcement for Ryan's involvement in a Nickelodeon, like, children's sitcom.
In the announcement video, he's like, thanks for 4 million subs.
Yep.
By the way,
I'm going to be a TV star.
I'm going to be a TV star on Nickelodeon. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I didn't see that in the research when I was putting this playlist together.
It's because it didn't actually happen.
Oh.
Yeah, he dropped out.
Rough.
So, honestly, probably the right move.
Probably the right move.
I don't think Nickelodeon Kids TV is particularly well paid or lucrative.
Well, there are other people we will discuss who do make the pivot to mainstream, and I don't know if it's always the best choice. So yeah, I think you made the right decision.
Yeah, at that point, I think YouTube on the up, broadcast television, the complete opposite. But hey, there is something I wanted to touch on where he does what he describes as a Shane Dawson exit, where he spits on his hand and covers the camera.
Yep.
And I know who Shane Dawson is.
Who is Shane Dawson to you?
He's like this. Is he gay?
Yeah. He's married to a man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. He's like 30-something white guy, brown hair, and I know he did like documentaries, and I'll quote unquote that because like I doubt he was doing investigation.
You're saying who you think Shane Dawson is. When I asked you the other night, who do you think Shane Dawson is? What did you say? You said...
I said he fucked his cat. Which I don't know if that's true.
That copy pasta.
But that's the perception of him.
I think a lot of people would say, yeah. Yeah, so that kind of a bit of a forecast. We will at one point have at least one Shane Dawson episode. I don't know if we can do it all in one episode because of the...
It is alleged commonly on the internet that he had sex with a cat, for the record. Alleged.
Yeah, sorry. And it's a copy pasta. It's a... Yeah, and he did make a video about it, which is why that... Anyway, crazy work. Classic PR, like, maybe you shouldn't have talked about it, but I respect... Anyway, whatever. We will talk about Shane Dawson at one point, but yes, a bit of a spoiler forecasting for you that Shane Dawson was a popular creator around this time.
Anyway, Ryan is cashing in on his success through a series of tours where, of course, when you are a YouTuber at this time, you're thinking, how can I monetize my audience? Because I don't think there's any subscription or anything in the platform. Nope. So you're selling merch or you're doing live events. And so we watched some of these live events. Most notably, he now vlogs them on his second channel, Higa TV.
Yes, this is the birth of Higa TV. And the first video on the Higa TV channel is the Australia tour, which is crazy.
Iconic.
Australia mention.
He does get racially profiled.
Yeah,
by immigration, customs, which is so
sounds
Australian.
Correct.
Yeah,
sounds about right. He like says this happens, and I'm like, I 100% believe you. I'd believe you anyway, but I definitely believe you, knowing what I know. So,
but I haven't seen much YouTube live, so I'll describe, and you can tell me if this is pretty common. But basically, it's a bit like a variety show in that they have like 7 or 8 people of varying levels of fame. And almost like a kids' talent show, they alternate coming on stage and doing something. In Ryan's case, it was like dancing and lip syncing, which is something he's done in the past. Not a huge thing in the channel at the moment.
He break dances.
Oh.
I think. You see him do a handstand.
Yeah, he does moves.
He does a trick. Do a trick. Kind of gives that. But yeah, this was your first time seeing any type of YouTuber event. And you looked a little befuddled.
Sorry, that's actually not true.
Oh.
Because I'm actually...
Huh?
Sorry, I didn't bring this up beforehand.
Breaking news on the pod.
I went and saw Anthony Fantano give a speech in, say, 2015.
But that was at like university. He did a uni talk, didn't he?
These guys were performing in like an auditorium. I mean, sorry, Ryan was. It wasn't a stadium show.
No, but that's a totally different... Doing like a speaking tour is so different to what this was, which was like a variety talent show to an audience of like mostly... you can hear the screams from the audience. It's like young girly pops.
Yeah. But I just wanted to compare this to like, he could have done a sketch comedy tour and done like an hour of the Ryan Higa show. But what this is a show featuring Ryan Higa. It's just 90% of the audience seems to be there for him.
We don't know that for sure, but that does seem to be...
Can you name anyone else that was there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Kev Jumba, I think,
Okay.
was there. Who...
The guy from American Idol was also there?
There was a man from American Idol.
Not a winner. I don't think he
no.
placed. I think he was just on the show.
He was just yeah, correct. And he had a hat that he wore in the vlog. I'm so sorry to this man. But yeah, that is a very early, like, and there will be others like this, but that's like an early YouTube tour, which is like there's not a lot of structure, there's not a lot of show.
No,
it's kind of just they're here, and we got to do something to fill the stage time.
The vlog channel. So the vlog channel continues until actually the present day, even though the main channel, spoilers, is inactive.
What role?
But nothing bad happens. But the vlog channel is where we see Ryan's relationship with many prominent YouTubers at the time that even I notice. So there is examples where he goes on talk shows and he's there with other prominent YouTubers of the time.
Yes, Rebecca Black.
Yes.
He's on a talk
also does a talent show, a talent quest.
So he... Fact check, question mark. So Internet Icon is a show, I think, produced by Ryan. It seems to be kind of fronted by him. At least he's like the host. But he's co-hosting with other famous YouTubers. And we see a vlog of like the final episode. He kind of like floats it earlier. But then we do see a vlog of like, it's the finale of Internet Icon, which is basically like a...
You say American Idol, I say Internet Icon.
It's like a reality...
It's a talent quest.
Talent quest.
Yeah.
To find the next big internet star. I don't know who won. And I don't know...
Mr. Beast, no.
But wishing them all the best. Hope they're still on their internet journey.
The prize pack, they got some good stuff.
It was
like
crazy.
A Lenovo laptop,
Yeah.
a Microsoft Zoom.
A Kentucky 14-day tour.
Even though you're probably under 18, so why would you go on Kentucky?
Hey, you never know. Hey, no discrimination on Internet Icon.
The final panel, can you remember
It was
who they were?
crazy.
It was like the Last Supper lined up in
was.
front of the room.
It was like the Last Supper of YouTube. It's funny. I think it actually was that meme of like the 2013 like iconic YouTubers. It was Ryan Higa, Jenna Marbles, Anthony and Ian from Smosh, and PewDiePie. And I think a couple of other people.
Not important.
Hey, if you are one of the other people on that panel, just know that you are loved and cherished. But for the purposes of this podcast, we're doing the main blue text Wikipedia link people. So yeah, it was crazy. It was like the most subscribed, like the most famous YouTubers all in one room in this random like production lot in LA about to announce the winner of the Lenovo tablet. It was crazy work. So that was Internet Icon, which was a thing which I was like, this is insane time.
100%. Back to Ryan. So at this point, we have a channel which, until this point, Ryan, and he remains the sole focus of the channel. There's no attempt to build a crew of supporting cast around him, which...
He has like an entourage.
Sean features again. He presumably moves out to work with Ryan.
Other friends, and we watched so many videos on his channels where he has these like recurring characters. I still don't know who they are.
He doesn't introduce them.
He doesn't. They're not introduced by name. Maybe we skipped through their introductions, but they have like videos where they do stuff on the second channel.
The fact that we know who Shane Top is, that's because they cared about him enough to give him a name.
You're just implying they just don't have names. They're just
not
nameless.
To us.
Well, yeah, look, I think they don't become breakouts. I think they're mostly like crew who are there to be in the videos to kind of fill the room.
Yes.
But there's generally like star talent of these vlog channel videos, which should we explain?
The fact that we even have crew is a change in
Yes.
that earlier on, Ryan is expressly like, and it's kind of shade to Smosh, who, having said that, they did get ripped off for their own channel, so I feel bad. But he's like, I don't have an editor. I'm the editor. I don't have a writer. I'm the writer. But at some point, we can see that there's more people involved in the channel and it becomes a more professional production.
I think it's a good idea for a lot of creators. Like it becomes more sustainable. You can't maintain like a rising level of production quality and continue the same amount of output all on your own. So there is, I think, to his credit, I think he's more explaining because at this point he's not uploading as frequently as some of his peers, and he's just like, that's because I am not a production company. Like, I cannot make these videos like these other YouTubers or like this quality you expect from me on a weekly basis.
Yes.
And I'm like, T.
I will say it's telling his company is called Ryan Higa Production Company.
Hey, it's
not
giving
Nigahiga Production Company.
It's just giving LLC. It's just
Yep.
giving, fair
kind
enough.
of slay.
Kind of slay. RHPC. And he's like, I'm here with the RHPC crew. And we're like, RHPC. And it's like the Ryan Higa production crew vibes. This is actually the LL podcast, the Lucy Livin podcast.
Well, it would be your real name rather than Lucy Livin.
Well, hey.
We'll call it the Max Eagles Podcast Company. MEPS. I want to say the last thing on the early 2010s, a deleted video that we dug up,
I was so excited
which
for
is
this
so
one
of the time.
because it's like it's one of my, okay, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I really like this portion of internet history, which it's 2012. You have 3 seconds to guess. 3, 2, 1. Kony 2012. He made a video about Kony 2012 and then deleted it.
I mean, fair enough. We won't go into Kony 2012 except to say Ryan does some unique animation depicting the state of what he believed Uganda to be at the time under the control of Joseph Kony. And I was like, he really was like, we got to get this guy.
It was one of the most successful viral campaigns about something that people...
Look, I hope we see far more Kony videos in this journey. The issue is I do think people will delete them out of embarrassment. But if you're a big enough channel, there's always going to be a record of that.
They're made with such good faith. Like, they are making them with, like, their whole hearts, being like, I am so concerned about Joseph Kony. And obviously, it is concerning. But, yeah. If you know Kony 2012 lore, it's very, I have to laugh a little bit. I have to laugh. And I feel bad that he put his whole Ryan Hussey into this video and then just privated it.
But we found it. So, it's not that well hidden.
No. Yeah, the internet is semi-forever.
At this point in the mid-2010s, Ryan and co really hit their stride in terms of pumping out entries in their long-running series. We have titles like Anime in Real Life, which is very reminiscent of other YouTube channels at the time, prank videos, commentary videos, occasionally punctuated by something which is either a unique spin on a current YouTube formula or something more inventive from Ryan. I want to say this Draw My Life video.
Oh my gosh.
Which I watched and was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, he drew all this stuff and we like learn all this important lore. And then you were like, oh, every single YouTuber did this.
So this was an insane moment in our watch journey where I'm like, okay, Draw My Life. I was like, actually, this is good in terms of lore for you. And it's good for us in terms of like, it's Ryan explaining his life story and like why he's a YouTuber. And like, that's all really handy. But I am aware of the format because it was, prolific. Someone even say it was a plague on the platform. Everyone did a Draw My Life video. And so you were like, what an inventive concept. Like, what a clever man. Drawing my life. So that was extremely funny to me that you had never heard of a Draw My Life, which I suppose if you don't watch YouTube, like where else would you have a Draw My Life? But
Brad Pitt Draw My Life.
No, I feel like it created, and maybe it was just because I went to a religious school, but I feel that Draw My Life started this trend of like drawing explainer videos. So I would have to watch them about biblical stories at school. Like it would be a whiteboard drawing,
The
being like,
drawing for the Bible
and
makes
then
sense.
Jesus said,
We didn't have like HD TV cameras back then.
it was like 2012 or 2013.
No, I mean in the time of the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they're kind of doing an artistic
Hey,
representation.
what's up, vlog? I'm having kind of a bad day. They're low-key, like, they say they're gonna, yeah. No, that would be...
But you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was a good interpretation of Draw My Life in that Ryan actually is a suspiciously good drawer. I think a thing we find about him is that he's actually a bit of a multi-hyphenate in that he is quite good at really anything he puts his mind to. Because the whole channel hinges on him being able to execute all these different concepts.
Yeah, Higa's on him.
And the ADHD, I'm sure, doesn't help in that he is drawn in many different directions of video, which is quite successful.
He's a really talented creative, and you can tell that. And this is a good execution of a Draw My Life. I've seen some Draw My Lives that I just am like, okay, please clap. Like, no one moved. So this was a good one. But it did also, so not only did you not know what a Draw My Life was, but at some point during the video, he makes reference to this particular meme format, which is the, hey girls, did you know? The 4-panel meme format. And you also didn't know what this was.
No.
Insane work. I'll put it up for the video listeners, but it's just that, hey girls, did you know that your boobs go in your shirt? Which is like some, like, a very, like, slut-shamey, like, 2012-esque meme. And I'm shocked that you've never seen it, because I've seen the original and, like, so many versions spoofing the original. But maybe where would, like... You were just,
I'm
like,
just
outside.
not a big consumer of image macro, like, meme culture.
I was.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's how the
Honestly, for me, it's a data usage requirement. Like, I only have 1 gig of 3G. I'm not going to burn it viewing static images.
Me on the school computer looking at Rage comics.
Yes, that was not me.
No, you had hobbies, you did sport.
Anyway, so the back half of the decade, it's very funny seeing someone who we saw in like 2005 react to the Trump presidency, which seems like 100 years away from that. But we do get some commentary.
Sorry, the first Trump presidency, to clarify.
Oh.
The first Trump presidency.
But yeah, we get Ryan doing some commentary on
Politics.
things like political correctness.
Yeah.
The president, is he an alien?
Yeah.
It's his heart doesn't feel in it. And the views, I think, back that up.
It's like, again, it's the same thing with the off the pill kind of rants. He's sort of bringing this into like a higher produced format where he's sort of basically doing like stand up. With some like skits intercutting and like other people to bounce it off of. Like it has a skit framing, but it's just stand up really with like some pictures. But again, I feel like the takes are just not very spicy. It's just
he's
like...
not a political creator.
He's just like, it's just stuff like Trump's orange. And I'm like...
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I honestly got a bit of Family Guy from late era Ryan because the cutaway style of the comedy... No, like...
Oh, the cutaway, okay.
Yeah, where it's like Ryan sets up the line and then it's just like cut to his like not a recreation, but his filmed skit.
Yeah.
And it's a way for him to still do comedy but also tie it to commentary, which I think is a bit more popular in YouTube at that time.
Yeah, I think he's trying to make content that feels a little bit more adult or like age appropriate for him. But still tying in that like child friendly skit. Like he's keeping the brand, which is his brand, but he's trying to evolve it. And I understand that. I get that to his credit. You have to he's trying to combine his interests, his personal interests with what will be successful on his channel. Is that successful in this series of videos? Again, it's not really for me. You know, Trump orange man bad. It's not particularly cutting or innovative, but I think, you know, it wasn't poorly
He doesn't
received.
even go as far as to say orange man bad.
He's man orange.
He's still being very PG. So
very common.
He doesn't
of YouTubers
even
at the time.
really say orange man bad. He's more just like orange man orange.
Yeah.
Which is not really a joke. There's not really a viewpoint there. But there are some hits in this back half where you do get the sense that maybe out of boredom or like creative unfulfillment, Ryan goes really hardcore into an idea. One example is the Nintendo paper, which
This video is insane.
Do you want to describe what it is?
So it starts out like many of Ryan's videos where he does like a skit, or it's an infomercial. It's an infomercial of the new Nintendo product, the Nintendo paper. It's kind of playing on the Nintendo Labo, which is like the cardboard Nintendo thing that I have never seen in real life, and I don't think neither have you.
It is like pay $80 to get a box of cardboard that you can build things to put your Switch in.
I love brand. But yes, so it's like a play on that classic infomercial framing to start with. It's very like well done, very like high produced. It's done in the style of like a Nintendo Direct commercial kind of thing. But then it takes a turn, and we were both kind of like watching it, mouths like maybe slightly agape, just because it was so cool. Would you like to explain the turn it takes?
Yeah, after maybe like 3 minutes of pretty normal infomercial spoof, it becomes like a stop motion animated battle between the Nintendo Labo, which is made out of cardboard, and the Nintendo paper, which is obviously paper, but they're like creating tanks of shooting at each other, going around the room, like
little like origami. It's like folding up into like a little Mario. That's, you know, it's turning into a bunch of Nintendo characters, and it's employing it's stop motion. This would have taken like hours upon hours upon hours. It was, you can see it's so much creative work piled into this video, and I don't know exactly how much space there is between uploads at this time, but I'm like, if this was, you know, the first upload in like a month, 2 months, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's kind of like hidden at the end of the video. Like I had no...
It's quite odd, hey?
I mean, I kind of respect it because it's, you know, it's taking you on a really quite incredible creative journey. Like it's a really impressive video, but it doesn't have like crazy views because you wouldn't think that's what this video is going to be just from looking at it, which is... So if you haven't seen the Nintendo paper video, I think it's one of his best.
It is another one though, and the next video we talk about is something that's also affected by this, where we assume that there was significant help in creating this video, given the quality of the animation, but Ryan does not credit other creators on his videos as far as we can tell, either in the description or the video.
It's pretty occasional. It's only when he's working with a team outside of his production company, to my understanding. There's a video where he does like a Naruto film trailer, and he does credit like the people working on that because I believe he's working with like another production company. They're filming it in Japan. It's kind of crazy. So he credits those like people who worked on that video. But yeah, I was like trying to look to be like, oh my gosh, like who did all of the, you know, fault? Like, did Ryan do it? I don't know. So I assume it's just like it's an effort from the Ryan Higa production company, which he owns. So if he doesn't want to credit his own production company, of which he is the CEO and founder, kind of fair, but a bit.
I don't think it's exactly fair in that.
I'm trying to be charitable. I would just put the credits in.
The cast and crew in the comments, at least. Sorry, in the description.
It's nice for your CV, if I'm a member of the Ryan Higa production company, to be like, I did all of the...
If you're a creative person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like... It's not like you're making bank working at the Ryan Higa production company.
Hey, we don't know that. Okay.
You assume.
Hey, Glassdoor. We'll check it out and fact check.
But the second video I want to talk about is another stop motion. However, it's this time Ryan himself is the thing being animated, in that it's a video where the concept was, can you dance without moving?
Ryan.
A Dear Ryan? There you go.
Yeah, he's bringing the concept back. It's a long-running series. Dear Ryan, can you dance without moving?
And what that means is that he stands still, and then various stop motion not performers, but I guess they're the animators in this sense, come into frame, move his body slightly, then they take another frame, and then they come back and move him again. And over 6 days, they basically created a stop motion animation of him dancing in his very nice Las Vegas house. Like, side note, and we see this location in a few videos, but you can tell at this point Ryan's doing okay for himself.
The YouTube money has come in. So happy for my king.
Did you like this video?
I did. But it's another one where, and I think it does speak to like maybe some of his grievances that come up pretty soon after, but you can't tell from a thumbnail and a title how creative these videos are going to be. Like, you see the Can You Dance Without Moving? I see that it has a lot of views. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. But like from the thumbnail, it's just like him dancing. So you're like, okay, you can't.
It's not essential viewing.
It's not
neat.
It's cool,
but
it's more of maybe I would say a passion project than like really emblematic of like what his whole channel is.
Was it that? It is more niche than his previous
But
content.
you can feel that he really wanted to do something different. He wanted to like flex his creative muscles. And I do think it's a really good video in isolation. It's a bit of a different / like kind of weird, Nigahiga video, but it's a good video. But does YouTube reward that type of effort and creativity at this point in the algorithm? Hard to say. Which I don't know if that takes us to where we're kind of going.
I did want to touch on prior to our final series of videos that around this time Sean decides to hang up the YouTube boots and go and complete his engineering degree. He also has a girlfriend who he's now married to. And I imagine Las Vegas, starting a family, husband as a YouTuber, maybe there was some pressure there.
I mean, let's be real, you just
grow up.
I mean, you just went to his Instagram and you were like, he's giving wife guy, which love a wife guy, except for one particularly famous wife guy who we'll cover at some point as part of one channel. Do you
Ominous. No.
Okay, well, we'll get there.
But Sean quits. They do a nice video thanking him for his... It's like a surprise party, and it's quite emotional, I would say. They're more emotional than probably any Ryan content until this point. He keeps it pretty...
It's pretty sincere.
Yeah, he keeps it pretty under lock.
Lots of testimonials from him and the crew saying about how much Sean means to him. He talks about how Sean's been his friend since he was like 3 years old and how much he means to him and his journey as a YouTuber. Obviously, Sean was in... Ryan and Sean's Not So Excellent Adventure, probably the most notable piece of content. I say with sarcasm, unlike the genuineness that the whole video is. It's quite sweet. But yeah, you can tell Sean is not like a key. It's Ryan's channel. And Sean is, I think, I don't know. I did see some stuff, because I did have a little look-see, in like comments about sort of where the channel goes. And there is some speculation that without Sean's, I guess, support or Sean's like input or knowing that he's sort of doing it with Sean on the team maybe contributed to where the channel went. I don't know if I
think that... So we'll touch on the final years where...
We're building up to it.
It does seem, and Ryan says as much in the final videos, that he is increasingly out of love with creating YouTube videos. He's
losing passion.
And
his heart's not in it.
He's seeing it more as a job than it is his creative fulfillment. So at one point he just pivots the channel completely and starts doing a podcast. Shout out to my fellow podcasters.
Hey, yeah, we're exactly the same.
But he does, it's like any YouTube podcast from a professional company you've seen. Like they're in a studio, they're mic'd up, the crew are there, he has celebrity guests, and it's getting, 500,000 views an episode. So a very successful podcast.
Yeah, it's a successful podcast.
But it's not like the videos that he was creating previously in terms of reach.
No, I think he addresses that he wants to kind of pivot, do something different. That podcast is like a nice outlet. Hey, I can relate. I make another kind of content on a pretty regular basis, and doing a podcast is totally different. It allows you to cover different topics. I think also he is able to talk about like more adult topics and be more himself rather than playing like Ryan Higa, Nigahiga. Do you know what I mean? Like the character, a la Smosh, the only other YouTubers that ever exist. So I understand that. He does also discuss, there's a couple of videos basically over the course of like 2-3 years. He has the podcast and he'll make a video being like, why I'm not uploading, and kind of discuss his grievances with the platform or his passion with YouTube. And then in between that, there's a couple of like more traditional Nigahiga videos, mostly podcast, but then not a lot else. And then he'll make another video being like, I'm not enjoying it, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry I haven't been here.
Or the pattern is, he says, I have felt like I've been forced to make videos that I don't enjoy, but they perform well on YouTube. And I shouldn't do that, and I should make videos I enjoy. And then it seems he does that, and they don't perform as well. And so then he circles back and is like, I must make videos that perform well.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't enjoy it. So he makes the video being like, I'm not enjoying YouTube.
This is your first instance of encountering this with a YouTuber, like publicly discussing the YouTube algorithm and, you know, how, like, their journey of being a YouTuber. Do I still want to be a YouTuber anymore? I'm going to do things a bit differently around here. I say all this with, like, maybe a drop of cynicism, which I don't mean for it to be. I do genuinely empathize with Ryan. I've seen it with a lot of my favorite creators. I, to an extent, obviously am a YouTuber. Not that have a million subscribers by any means, but I understand the idea of, like, you know, I have this content, I have this idea that I think is really good. It doesn't perform well. This other thing that I know will do well, does well. But I, you know, maybe you don't feel as, like, creatively passionate about that video. Like, it's pretty normal. And you'll see a lot of the other YouTubers that we cover do sort of go through these motions and do really feel a duty to discuss it with their audience, which I understand. It is challenging. I do think there is a kind of a level where if you want to make the content you want to make and you don't want to feel tied to making stuff that you know is going to be popular, you do just have to, like, accept that it's not going to get the views it's going to get. And I think it's really hard for someone like Ryan, who has been popular for, like, over a decade and been making bangers with millions and millions of views, to start seeing videos have views less than 1 million. It would feel insane. And you'd be like, no one, because you know, it's personal. It's like, no one likes me, even though that's not what it is, but it would be hard.
I think you see something similar in creative people in all disciplines.
Yeah.
Like, you think when pop girlies, like, none of them think they're at their peak when they are. And then when your next album doesn't hit as much, like, obviously Katy Perry is a prime example currently, but it's enormously damaging to your ego potentially when you flop in front of a worldwide audience. And some people, rather than do that, choose to just opt out entirely.
Yeah. I think it's something I don't think the human mind is really meant to be able to comprehend. And also, not to mention, you have, like, all the analytics on the back end. YouTube tells you, hey, this video is a flop, actually. No one's watching this. It'll even say things like, less of your subscribers are clicking on this one compared to any of the last 10 things you made. And you're like, sick. Guess I'll never make a video again. Not actually, but you do have to have a bit of a, like...
Are you saying that you have to have a thick skin to persevere when creating content that you personally enjoy, even if your audience might not like it as much as your more commercial stuff?
I think if you're doing it because you love it, you need to just forge on. But it can be hard when it is also your livelihood, because you're not just doing it because you love it. It's also your livelihood.
I will, just to give Ryan a bit of a hard time, say that unlike many, we don't know, but we can safely assume he was in a position where he did not have to do YouTube anymore, in that he made sufficient money that he could pursue it as a passion if he felt it was something that he wanted to do.
Yeah, but, like, ego death is of great cost to us all. But yeah, he, you know, even if his videos are getting less views, he's still getting, like, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 4 million views.
Yeah.
That's still a lot for, like, any, like, run-of-the-mill YouTuber. So it can be hard at times, I think, to really feel...
It's like, do you have much sympathy for the guy who was number one YouTuber being number 95? It's like, no.
Well, no.
Tough personally, but like...
I think a lot of YouTubers, you see other YouTubers being able to successfully pivot and I think we discussed this where I'm like, it would have been interesting to see, and again, not that they are the only YouTuber, but you kind of have to compare them a little bit, but it would be interesting to see if Ryan, you know, did step into, like, more of a creative, like, producer role, and there were other people on the Ryan Higa channel who were making skits and, you know, a la Smosh. And I suppose he did kind of do it with his production company, like he was stepping into a creative producer role. I don't know if they made stuff for other channels, but that could have been really creatively fulfilling for him to be, like, a creative producer on other things, like for other YouTubers. I don't know if that's what happened, but the company did dissolve in COVID.
I just don't get the sense that he has the mindset to do that. In that, I think every single video on this channel features Ryan.
Yeah, I think
sharing this, like, not being the star, is a very different skill set to being the star, essentially.
I also think that he primarily, other than like on his second channel where he was doing gaming content and kind of more of that like ensemble, like vlog casual star content, on his main channel, it's pretty much like one kind of content pretty much from its inception to, you know, kind of the end. Spoilers. He really doesn't change the formula that much at all. It's higher production, it's bigger, it's better, but ultimately it's Ryan doing funny bits.
So off the cycle of creating content that flops, creating commercial content he doesn't enjoy, we finally get on the cusp of COVID, the midlife crisis video.
Yeah.
Where Ryan summarizes sort of all his concerns with YouTube, the algorithm, not enjoying content, and ties it to the fact that at the time he is 28 years old and he has anxieties about turning 30 without being in a serious relationship. Spoilers, he was dating
Arden Cho
from the Ass film, but after publicly announcing their relationship
only
about
like
a year
ago, prior, and then they break up.
Yes,
Ew.
It's over. And he's like, I have no family. I have no prospects of having a family. I'm like...
No, Lizzie from Pride and Prejudice, no.
And he does compare him... He does have his child's vision of himself as a 30-year-old man engage in a dialogue with his present 28-year-old self. And this video honestly did perk me up after some kind of a very dull stretch of him churning out videos that even he commented that he didn't enjoy. But he did address a lot of anxieties that we felt throughout the content in terms of he has not really grown up with his content, and how does it feel being a 28-year-old man doing
the same thing you were doing when you were 16.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's valid.
I think anyone would be a bit crazy. Imagine, I'm imagining me having to do like a facsimile of my 16-year-old self, and like I couldn't do that.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
I could definitely not do it. Definitely not. So, yes. And this is the third last video on the Ryan Higa channel. This is in March of 2020. Kind of a bit foreboding. He kind of addresses COVID as this like concept of like, what's going on with this? Obviously, there's like some lead time on the creation of this video. He probably made it in like February. The next two videos are just about COVID. They're just like COVID skits. And then that's it.
No more YouTube videos on Nigahiga main channel to this day.
Kind of wild. Kind of without fanfare. You know what's actually really odd? I thought in that video, the midlife crisis video, because we, you know, we're sort of researching for the video. We're kind of at the end of the viewing watching process. And you were like, oh, everyone is talking about this midlife crisis video. This is going to be a big video. And I thought in that video he would be like, I am going to be like stepping back from YouTube, or I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube, or I'm not going to be committing to consistently uploading on YouTube anymore. And it's kind of in a video only like 6 months, maybe a year earlier, he kind of says something like that. Like, I'm going to be taking a break. I'm going to be doing something different. Or he's just like, we're going to do things differently around here.
Bigger and bigger gaps between videos.
Yeah. But I thought in this video it would be him being like, look, my heart's not really in it anymore. But in this video, it's actually like a recommitment to YouTube. And it's the third last one.
Yeah. But at this point, I think even the viewers at the time are like, his heart's not in it.
I think it's just because I have seen so many YouTubers do the same thing. And I'm even like conscious. I'm like, I shouldn't be like, guys, I'm going to upload soon. Like, just don't. Just advice is just don't tell me your next move, which I suppose he doesn't. But it's, I don't think you've experienced it as much as I have, but the amount of times I've had content creators be like, sorry, I haven't been uploading as much, but like, you're going to see something really cool coming soon. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. And then they just disappear. And then they do it again and again. And it's a bit of a trope, I would almost say, on YouTube. So I think you are more like engaged in this storyline. And I'm not to say that I'm not empathetic and not being like, oh, like, because I do feel for him. I do understand. But I think it is just a bit of a like, I think you can only really pull that card out so many times over a period of time.
I think he realizes that.
Yeah. I feel so critical. I'm so sorry. So sorry to Mr. Higa. But
I think he'll be fine. Because Mr. Higa is now a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
You can go and on any given day, watch formerly the most subscribed channel on YouTube, the man behind it, that is, play Marvel Rivals to a very middling audience compared to where we were on YouTube.
It's moderate. I kind of get it. If you have been a really successful YouTuber and you have like a really strong core audience that you know will just watch you do anything, follow you to anything, Twitch makes sense. You don't have to do any prep for Twitch. You don't have to really prep for your streams. You don't have to edit. You just go live and just do the stream. I kind of get it. Like, I understand.
I mean, while we were watching, I did kind of say it seems like Twitch has functioned as a YouTuber retirement home.
Oh.
And I mean, of course you can just quit the platform entirely, but it is a way that your hardest of hardcore fans can still have that touch point with you, and that means by which they can give money to you. Because Twitch is very oriented around paying for subscriptions.
I don't get the sense that he's like hustling on Twitch the way we see like Twitch streamers TM be really like on the grind trying to make, you know, innovative streams where they're doing IRL streams and they're traveling and they're, you know what I mean? Like, or, oh yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a bit of iShowSpeed. But like, you know, those big Twitch streamers are really trying to innovate. And not to say that his Twitch streams aren't good. We haven't really watched them in anything. And also that's not what the pod's about, okay? It's not the Twitch history podcast. It's the YouTube unofficial history podcast. So,
it's tough after we watch many hours of highly curated content where he's edited to seem very high energy, to watch him in a mode where he streams for multiple hours at a time and seems like so low key as a comparison.
You can't be anywhere near as high key as he is in those videos where he's chopping out every single breath, every single like half second. It's a totally different platform.
You mentioned iShowSpeed.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
you can.
Yeah, I think you can. But
there's a difference between Kaisenat and where Ryan is at on the Twitch, and I definitely think Ryan is at the low key.
But I don't blame him. Like, it's if you want to do something less high effort, more chill, less stressful, you just show. It's like you clock into work and you clock out. Is it almost like a 9 to 5 for social media stars, as opposed to being like a freelancer and having to like hustle and own your own business. Not to say that Twitch isn't a hustle, but I think there is just the format of what Twitch is. He can just rock up, and there's people who are so excited to see him and so excited to hang out with him as he plays video games, and I think that's lovely.
So happy ending, we think?
I assume so. Sean was on the Twitch stream at one point. The boys reunited. He seems to have, like, he collaborates with a lot of really popular Twitch streams. He's really respected within the community. Overall, a non-problematic king, minus some extremely early slurs.
Do you think there is a chance he will return to the channel? Having said, the Higa TV vlog channel is where he will post his Twitch highlights. So that is still
He's still technically active on YouTube. We wondered if this really counted for the purposes of our research. It's technically just Twitch clips. It kind of counts. It kind of doesn't. They're not really like...
I doubt he touches them. They also do maybe, 10K views with 5 million subscribers?
Yes.
So I think a lot of those accounts are probably absent. They've been abandoned. That viewer count is so low.
It's not as high as previous videos have been, no. But I think if you're also posting more frequently and less people are interacting, like that's just how the algorithm works. If you're posting a Twitch clip every day, a 10-minute Twitch clip every day, and no one's watching them, like YouTube will be like, okay, cool. So like no one wants to see your stuff because but we don't need to do algorithm chat because that's not what the pod is. That's my personal yap session that I'll have to you.
We'll do that on the Lucy Livin episode. All right, Ryan Higa, that brings us to a close. Do you have a favorite video of Ryan's?
I feel like it's
that
really...
isn't Nice Guys.
No. Bromance?
Bromance? Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Bromance.
I will give you, if you want to have, like, Nice Guys is probably the best video. I just didn't want us to both say it.
I mean, honorable mention to the Nintendo paper. I think that's like an unsung hero. It's an underrated banger, hidden within the channel, I would say. What about yourself? Do you have a favorite?
I think How to Be Ninja is my favorite. Both because
Crazy
there's the
work.
original How to Be Ninja, which is like almost like a timepiece into 2000s home video, and it's just very endearing because the boys are so young. But they also remade it at the fans requested a sequel for years, and they were like, we won't be able to live up to it. But they kind of did a sequel in that they did a parody of the original video with Sean involved.
Yeah,
and
reprising.
it was like pretty nostalgic having us watched all those videos to see them
Pretty
talk about.
nostalgic for us having watched all of this content within like 72 hours. You're like, damn,
I was reminiscing.
You were like, it feels like it was only yesterday when I
Yes.
watched this video. Yeah, okay.
Like literally. Anyway, it was a good video.
Yeah.
Both of them are very enjoyable.
Also, by the way, he has a black belt in judo. We didn't mention that, but both of them are actually like judo kings, and so they can do backflips and stuff. I just wanted to mention that. I feel like we've been a little. I feel like we've been harsh.
Harsh? No.
On Ryan, my boy. I'm like me at the end. He can also do backflips. He's really cool.
I think like the takeaway is that this channel was successful in large part due to it being a very wide demographic appeal.
Yeah.
In that the content was not particularly age inappropriate.
Yeah.
It touched on very popular like social
Cultural touch points.
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Ryan is a very innately funny person.
He's so likable.
And a great performer. Like I imagine we will see other YouTubers who cannot really hold a candle to how good he is on camera.
Yeah, he is so likable and charismatic. Just to see though. Yeah, Ryan is like, he's a star, and you can see that in the videos. And you can totally see why. He was one of the most subscribed to channels for like a really long time on the platform.
But also, and I'm sure we will dig into this in future, being the only person, being basically the linchpin for an entire media company,
a brand,
doing that for years, it's very difficult / maybe impossible not to burn yourself out doing that.
Yeah, it takes a toll, 100%.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this won't be the first. Sorry, this won't be the last creator.
Nope.
That goes through this cycle.
Nope. There's a bunch. It's there's even like, there was almost like a YouTuber burnout epidemic. It was so bad that YouTube had to like formally address it and had to start putting measures in, like in platform, to discourage these feelings of burnout.
It's like brain training. They're like on the DS. It's like, have you been outside?
They're like, have you considered taking a break from uploading, maybe from the content machine? They're like, hop off the conveyor belt every now and then, get out of the wheel, and then get back on, because we need that ad money. But yeah.
That is episode 3 of Rewind Time, Nigahiga. Lucy, what are you subscribing to this week?
I know what I am subscribing to. It is Cinenerdle 2. For my fellow Karsten Runquist subscribers, I feel like maybe I just shout out a random YouTuber in every episode, but Karsten Runquist is a really great film creator. I really love his videos, and he, on his second channel, has been playing Cinenerdle 2, which is kind of like if the New York Times games had a baby with Letterboxd. So they're like film-themed puzzles, and there's also a battle mode, which gets very competitive. I have been really enjoying it, and you have also been enjoying being next to me while I'm playing. I don't want you to help me with my score. I want to stand on my own 2 feet, but I do sometimes
The battle mode does intrigue me. If you're not familiar, it's like you name a film, and then the other person has to name the director or
cast
the
or
cast.
crew,
yeah, someone involved in it, and then you have to involve someone. You have to name someone involved in that film.
And there is between the different
and there's
films.
various like rules depending on the mode. It might be like you can only score points if you name films from a particular genre, or I don't know the cast of this film. I'll use my power, like my phone a friend would be in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like it looks like a fun game.
It
you
is
should
a fun
definitely
game.
include the link for those interested.
Yes, Cinenerdle 2. What about you? What are you subscribing to this week?
This week, I am subscribing to season 3 of Below Deck Down Under, which is the Australian offshoot of the Below Deck Bravo franchise. If you're not familiar, it is the crew of a super yacht, and the various episodes follow them on charters for rich clients, and you follow both the on-ship drama of them, you know, running a successful charter, but also the relationship drama that occurs between hospitality staff. And it makes me nostalgic for my time working in hospitality. And also, I like boats. So it's cool to see those two worlds combined in a reality TV format.
I would suggest for anyone who is trying to get their significant other into the Bravo-verse or just into reality TV in general, as I had attempted to for many years with not much success, I would say, Below Deck is the gateway reality TV show, because now you also watch other Bravo TV shows.
Yeah.
So
honestly,
it's
we're discounting male reality TV, like, you know, subs like Storage Wars.
No.
And that type on
Nope.
Duck Dynasty, I think. But in terms of shared hetero couple friendly TV, Below Deck is a good one.
Yeah, I love Below Deck. Captain Jason, if you're seeing this, we like you. The hetero couple in their lounge room inviting Captain Jason. No,
Captain Jason.
Captain Jason.
On the pod.
Actually, Binge, who are the streamers of Below Deck in Australia. If you see this, we will come on a boat. Even though I'm really afraid of being seasick. But I'll come on a boat.
Okay, that's it for episode 3. I hope you all enjoy. This will be the first episode that we've recorded post launching the pod.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everyone's comments and feedback.
Thank you,
and
everyone. It's
engagement.
been so nice. Yeah. You're playing it really like, thank you, everyone. My professional king. Everyone has been so nice. Thank you for everyone for being so supportive of like the concept. Please let us know YouTubers you'd like to see covered. We obviously have some in mind, but always keen to hear your thoughts, feelings, opinions.
I actually don't have any in mind because I don't know any. So, yeah, basically have that dialogue with Lucy and try pick ones that you think I would enjoy. But don't spoil it for me.
Yes. Feel free to pop it in the YouTube comments if you're watching on YouTube, or you can email us at rewindtimepod@gmail.com.
That's it for the episode. We will see you next week. Bye.
Ah, oh, that's hot. That's hot.